So true freedom, I think this whole BS history leads us to the present, which is even more important and relevant in our lives. How did we get in this predicament? Why are so many people unhappy? Working so hard, having so little time for themselves? And I think you always have to work hard. You'll have to garden or hunt or work on your homestead. But at least not doing things that are meaningless, at least to you. Things that you don't want to do. I mean, sometimes I don't want to shovel the chicken poop, but it's not meaningless. And in fact, it's gold. Often the things that we have been trained to think of as a problem is actually a solution. Such as the chicken poop and all poop, and how this could be fueling our lives in every way. Fertilizing our crops and powering our electrical needs, heating our homes. And I have a video coming up, and this might be it. We'll discuss some of that stuff. Welcome. So this was just shared with me in a comment. I'm not really sure about anybody's names anymore, ever since they changed over to @whoever or whatever. Why couldn't they just make it @whatever your channel name was? I guess because there's multiple channels with the same name. Pretty stupid. Anyway, thank you whoever shared this with me. And let's just zoom in here. I guess we'll start off at the Statue of Liberty in Fort J. Statue of Liberty, little star fort here, and Fort J, another star fort here. What explanation for the star? Let's just forget about can we build it, did we build it, is our history a bunch of BS, but just why the star? Why this beautiful, symmetrical star? Now we've looked at the star in New Mexico, just the ruins of it, the ruins. They've erased the thing, the ruins having this same exact shape. And one of my favorite things is exploring star forts. Recently, an opposing channel was whining to this platform, saying, why do you promote channels that talk about star forts? And I don't think they promote any of this. They just don't understand, and so there's no lid put on it. Nobody really understands the star fort. Sure, we're told they were military fortifications, but as we've discussed so many times, they just don't make sense. Oftentimes being abandoned, not even finished. And I have no doubt all of this is built. This whole landmass is artificial. I mean, you can see it doesn't take a genius to realize that this has been formed. But it's in complete ruins now, almost seeming natural. Sorry, I'm not using my pop filter. I just feel like it's always in the way, but I think that's what it's supposed to do. Be in the way. So here, if we notice, everything is called point. Point this, point that. And really, if the river was dictating the coastline, it would be smooth. There would be no points. The points would be rubbed smooth. Forgive me, I'm kind of geeking out right now. Dragging it out on the way, looking for other ones, but let me get right to it. Okay, it's up here. Ticonderoga and Crown Point. This will be the area we're going to focus on. And up here, there's a bridge, I think. Anyway, this area is Star Fort Central, and you'll see a lot of mining and artificialness. Here we go. His Majesty's Fort. And on one side we have Vermont, on the other New York, and this little bridge connecting them. And again, I was tipped off by this morning. I found her name, Diane Lawrence. Thank you, Diane. And I think this is what you were talking about. His Majesty's Fort at Crown Point. Boom. And just ruined. We can see heavy equipment has come through here and just erased a lot, but we still see a plug hole here. Didn't bury that. We see some remains. Let's have a peek. There we go. Cooked out remains. What about this one? And just block work and concrete scattered all over the place. But here we go. Star Fort. And this is really cool. I think it's a campground. Unlike the one in New Mexico that's not even talked about at Fort Union, this is a campground. I think one could just go run around here and explore. Most of it will be buried, but we even see an outline clear on the edge here. These ruins are just everywhere. Trenches, probably brick, stone, concrete, and just look at the contours of this land. So this is awesome. Just wanted to reference this immediately. And when somebody tells me about something, on my way there, I just like to noodle around and, like I said, look for other things. And there's tons to look at. But on accident, I found another fort down the river here somewhere. And it is down a little further. This is really suspicious. I'm going to stay on point. There's a confirmed fort right here. Fort Ticonderoga. And actually, I saw King's Garden first. That's what kind of brought me here. And then I noticed the fort next to it. Boom. What a beauty. I mean, in great shape. And this is a different type of pattern. We see this a lot with star forts. Kind of like a little pointer jutting off of it. And a lot of wall surrounding this baby as well. Look at this. Old, massive wall. We don't usually get to see the layers as we do here. Absolutely awesome. Here's some little shacks that somebody has built in recent times. Irony. Pile of wood still here. And there's a cafe. America's Fort Cafe. Again, I think it said it was closed on my Google Maps on my phone. But this is great. If you're in the area, let's get some boots on the ground over here. Of course, they've put their stupid cannons, their props, and here we go. Beautiful picture. I always kick my damn stool. Don't buy the Amazon stool. Their brand. It's shit. Sorry. But yeah, a lot going on here, and even buildings inside. I think the buildings inside are an afterthought. And I'd love to get into the history, as it's brand new to me. This one. I wish they would give us a walking tour. Oh, cool. So we're in. Here we go. Just look at this beauty. Really cool, actually. The structure being built right into it very nicely. And just not something that would be built for the Civil War military. No. Stupid. What is this? Something has melted into a blob here. A plug hole. Clearly one of the plug holes, but some apparatus has melted out. Very interesting. And again, I've told you they respect the plug holes. One of the few things they respect. And really, this whole thing they have respected. I'm very grateful. Oftentimes, these being claimed and just leveled, turned into mining operations, as we saw just up here at this one. This, I'm sure, too, had a star fort on it, but has been mined to piss. And in fact, on accident, I put in Crown Point, Vermont, initially, and it took me way over here. I didn't realize it was Crown Point, New York. So everything King's this, I've said it before, King's everything. Crown Point's just really a clue into our past. And again, I have such a difficult time staying on point. But this is where it initially took me, Crown Point Road. And because of my understanding now of mines and golf courses, I started looking at this and I could see the star fort. I could see the corners, and they have been mined, each building mined to piss. I mean, you can see it, right? Look, this is a connection here, and look at all of these walls. This would be excellent to get out here. They have done a number on this building. Essentially. Here we go. So anyway, that was just a digression. That was just me getting lost, but my point is it's absolutely everywhere. And really, I could just spend a lot of time going up and down these rivers, especially once we know the area is actually hot. Artificial waterways of the past. I would love to look at this outer wall. Oh, sweet. So there it is, just massive. And there's a little look at the wall as well, the outer one. Just dropping down into the bush here. Who knows how far. God, this is huge. Huge. Look at this. Compared to the people. I think I'll leave it there. Just a short segment. New star fort to look into. And recording. I want to talk about plug holes that we see on top of all the old star forts. I've said it before, but I think these are part of the infrastructure, the machinery, simply, very possibly the hookups. Today, we would want water, sewer, power, and gas. There's 4 plug holes. Now you could probably have 2 in one. Maybe you could have all 4 in one. All utilities, feeding into the same port. I really want to talk about the free energy that I'm working on. Really simple, actually. I mean, I use solar, and solar's fine most of the time, unless there's like 2 days of clouds and snow. And for this, I have a backup generator, a small generator that would allow me to charge my batteries. It's gas, but I could also have a propane one because I use propane. And that gets into the free energy that I'm talking about. Gas is very important. It's kind of half and half. Power and gas. Electric and gas. And gas is easy. Doing this research, I believe natural gas and propane that is tapped into in the earth is simply the gases building up from the last reset, found under the mud, under the dirt. There's pockets everywhere of material that has not completely broken down and is still releasing gas. Now, they will tell us these are dinosaurs. They'll tell us exactly this, but they'll just say that the materials that are decomposing are those of dinosaurs and plant matter from millions and zillions of years ago. And yet when we realize that there's been a covering, the only difference is we see that it's more recent than millions of years. And essentially we are burning the past civilization in our cars, heating our homes, everything. It's all the past. Even the coal, even these veins of coal, in my opinion, are the old massive trees that have been mostly burnt, but then the process was halted by the covering of them, by other mud and such materials and water, and it just stopped the burning process, and we have coal, veins of coal. And back to the gas. The gas is really interesting. Even when I was young, I saw one of the Mad Maxes. I think it was Beyond the Thunderdome with Tina Turner. I could be wrong. And they were powering the city with pig shit. Just everything beginning with the pig. And the pig producing waste. This goes into a mixture with water, creating methane and capturing the methane. And I'm not sure in the movie. I didn't pay attention. I was young. But today people are doing this. You can see it on YouTube. I've watched a lot of videos where people are basically creating methane. Some people just add water and wood. And anyway, there's no difficulty in creating methane gas, a naturally occurring thing, both with living and dead. Everything seems to create methane. We just need to capture it. And it was very simple, actually. You just capture it through a hose, running into a compressor, an air compressor, and then out the other side of the compressor, it goes into a bottle. You squeeze it into a bottle. You bottle this gas. And very exciting. I currently use a septic system, which means I have a tank that produces methane, ready to go. Ready to be bottled. A perfect recipe. And just unbelievable. We treat everything in such a disconnect. Everything. When it comes to medicine, there's a complete disconnect between the body and mind and the emotions, health and disease. Complete interconnectedness, and yet we separate everything, deal with everything as if they are not interconnected. And here the most inevitable thing, waste and gas. Things that we treat as a problem in our society, running it through all kinds of treatments for nothing, for no end result. And yet this is the key. The waste, our waste, today becomes our greatest resource. Now you can power cars, machines, generators with this byproduct of living creatures. We don't need millions of year-old dead remains. And so naturally this will be built in to my house soon. Simply going to tap into my septic system, suck the gases out, compress them, and cook and heat my house with it. Eventually, maybe a car. So I wanted to do this once, and the property ended up getting sold. I'm looking for land. I always look for land. It's just a hobby of mine. And homes. I'm expecting a dip in the market, and I hope to pick up a cheap home. It'd be really nice to be in Colorado, near a ski resort, something I miss. And here's a home. Here's a couple of them. I'll check that one out in a minute. Still more than I want to spend. I want to spend half this. But here's a nice house, $179,000, 2-bed, 1-bath, in South Fork, Colorado. And this is the second time I've seen this. I tried making a screen recording of the last one, but it was sold and I couldn't find it. But anyway, here we go. 271 Masters Place in South Fork. Built in 1921. Really doesn't look like a 1921er. It looks kind of newer. Refacaded with cheapness, perhaps on purpose. Wait till you see where we're going with this. So everything looks nice, quarter acre, $140 per square foot, and then the description. You must be a Mason. Eastern Star, this must be a type of Mason. To purchase in Masonic Park. So this whole subdivision, in fact, you must be a Mason to live in, and this house is part of it. These are the terms. And the land is not included. So bells are going off like crazy. And last time there was all kinds of ruins in the pictures. And I haven't looked at the pictures yet. This will be exciting for us to do together. So, charming summer log cabin nestled in the San Juan Mountains, overlooking a park and river. Pull-out sofa with privacy curtain. Gross. I'd certainly want to refurnish it. Fully furnished, includes beautiful antiques, new paint, power washed and sealed. The home is historic in nature, panoramic views, and that's about all the details. So we have 125 saves, so clearly these are Masons who meet these terms. It's been on the market 155 days. I hope my mic is working. This is a new little lapel mic, but I'm just holding it right now. And some more facts and features. What do we see here? Nothing that interesting. We can see the peak of the market here. And let's check out the pictures. Okay. So again, not looking very interesting initially. I like the way it's elevated. And here we go. Here we see some old stone. Terraced, 1 terrace, 2 terrace, right off of the side of the house. And remember, the terms were that you wouldn't even own the land. And in fact, there's a few different sections up here. We see a big crack here. And this little junky cabin, probably just a cover-up, just built to hide something. Let's move on. So here we go again. Look at this. Look at the foundation. We have some old stone. And remember how shack-like it looks from the front, and now we have old stone. And we also see a terraced level. It looks very square here with the snow in the corner. It looks like it might be a brick terrace and some steps going down. I don't know. And here again, we can see all of this stone in which the house is built right on top of. You can see that here. So they've perhaps covered up an entryway with this cabin. It would be worth becoming a Mason just to check this out. And look at all of this stone. Here, a polygonal fitting, as we see, and we know better. Just rocked. And even in America, we have an expression. The area has been rocked. A popular expression still today. So, really cool. I see this research everywhere, even when I'm not looking for it. Really very interesting. Not a very nice house. I mean, I think it's nice. I'd be very, very happy to have this house, to have built this house, all of that. But overall, not such a wonderful house. Looking very cheap and looking like a cover-up. That's all. Here it is from the side. We see some stone steppage, perhaps. I'm not sure, but clearly parts of that older wall on the other side. And this is cool. Some really nice brick over here. for the fireplace. You see how it's built into this hill, and then we see very interesting formations back here. Very interesting. Perhaps sealed off with concrete. Maybe that was an opening. Maybe this was an opening. And a little wall action here. Okay, let's move on. Again, very ordinary. And here we go with all the furnishings that they said were included. Even antiques. Not looking that interesting. Not what I thought when I started the video. But nice. Again, very, very nice. I like all this wood. I still think all the furnishings would have to go. And some more of the inside, whatever. And here, really interesting. Looks like many phases of construction in this fireplace. And here we see the entrance to the Masonic Park, established in 1913. Again, how perfect. Railroad tracks in ruins, grassed and bushed over. I'm not sure if those are people back there. It's kind of creepy. And I'm not sure. I guess this is some more of the subdivision. Here we go. Their little Masonic emblem. 1 and 2 here. Little reminder of whose neighborhood this is. Not for you and I. Just gorgeous. I love Colorado. Look at this. Okay. I think I'll just leave it there. I just wanted to share this, especially just in case it disappeared. It says I'm recording. I just don't remember hitting record. I want to talk about that little fan in the background. I actually got it for this stove and it works really well on the stove, but it works well on that little heater also. That heater had a flaw before. The venting pipe that draws fresh air in and stale air out would heat up the wall cavity there, and it would get really hot in that wall all the way up in between the two studs. So I cut that section out, framed it out a little, put a 2x4 up there and painted it, and it's great now. Actually, the heat spills out of that cavity out into the house. But that little fan is fascinating. It has no batteries, no external power source. It's called a Peltier, and it relies on a thermal exchange. It has a little plate in there, and it needs hot on one side and cold on the other. And that's it. It sends power to the motor and runs that fan. And this is a simple technology that's being used for little things. And yet I think it could be major. We could really step this technology up. I mean, for example, why not have one of these plates built right into the wall? Right above this heater, in fact. We have almost 0 degrees Fahrenheit outside and 70 in here right now. There's power. Now my living, just my ordinary living, has the conditions for power. And I would love to get into this Peltier technology. And it looks kind of funny, the fan delay in the camera. I would love to discuss this technology some more. I have another little rant that I will have done on methane, just how beneficial as a power source this can be. And again, just part of our ordinary living. And I believe in ether and atmospheric tech and use solar. Everything in here is powered by solar, but I think we need all of them. We need to understand everything. And the last thing I wanted to discuss was the Hutchison battery. So many different Hutchison things. And I don't care what you think of Hutchison. I think he's legit. And he made batteries, is making batteries, using different minerals, just packing them into cylinders and pulling voltage off of them. And this is very important to understand. And I'm wanting to do a dive into what minerals he is using exactly, which he shares freely and openly. And he's still perfecting the science. But I would not be surprised to find that these cast columns in buildings entirely of the old world are going to be made of these same minerals that Hutchison is making batteries out of. Again, lending to the idea that these buildings are actually serving as machines. We've seen and discussed the research on bricks being used to store energy, being a sort of battery or capacitor. But I think it gets even better, and I think Hutchison is the expert on this subject. He's the only one that I know of that's experimenting with different minerals and elements to produce free electricity. So let me know, what do you think the best is right now, the best option? From the high desert, I thank you for being here. Do have a blessed day and night. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.